Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Sarah Vantine here with Ted Ings. Today we're going to be talking about delivering parts efficiently and at a profit. Our guests with us today are Cliff Murphy of Classic Auto Group, Brent McDorman of Reynolds and Reynolds, and of course, Tully Williams of the Nilo Company.
Gentlemen, welcome to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. What a timely discussion. Tully, if it's all right, I'm going to come to you first out on the West Coast at the Nilo Company. Tully, a lot of parts departments sell to local body shops, they sell to repair shops, other dealerships, they even sell to the public. What, in your opinion, are the keys to making that a successful part of your dealership's fixed operations?
Well, there's two ways of looking at it. One is that there's margin, right? And if you're going to demand margin, you must demand service from your team. And if the service means your team is, I'll have the part there in 2 hours, and it can't arrive in 8 hours. It needs to arrive in an hour and a half. And I think when you're in the wholesale business, no matter if you're one dealer or 50 dealers, the issue is how do I get my parts from our stores to our great customers that are going to buy from us every day? The competition in wholesale is tremendous. Big body shop, big boxes, a lot of times they care about price, but when it really comes down to it, they care about speed and getting the part that was promised at the time it was supposed to be delivered. And that's what makes body shops successful. We're talking mostly body shops here. So to make a successful system is how do you have your delivery system work? You have 50 trucks, it doesn't matter, is how do I get my parts to the body shops in a reasonable amount of time and not have my drivers spend 4,000 miles a day going crisscross and back and making sure we can get a second delivery out of all of our drivers, which would help out tremendously. And now we can start making money in the wholesale business.
Cliff Murphy, you're over in Mentor, Ohio at Classic Auto Group, big name in our industry. What a great opportunity also to leverage technology. If maybe you want to share some your insights with us as well.
100%. I feel like we've piecemealed several systems together to try to make a system that works for what we need. It's a continuous battle trying to find something that works for everything we need. It's got to have route planning and optimization, and as Tully said, it's got to be a system that's going to get the part there efficiently, and something that is hopefully going to tie back to the DMS. But it's been a real challenge to try to find something that works so well with our DMS and a phone, ODB2 connector. It's a tough game.
Brent McDorman, you head up for Reynolds and Reynolds Parts Flex Logistics. Tell us a little bit about that and some of the pain points that we're hearing about, and maybe some others that you help solve.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, with Parts Flex Logistics, what we're looking to do is leverage that technology to ensure that efficiency, right? And not only ensure that efficiency, add some of that accuracy and some of that data tracking, right? So in order to be able to verify that the part is there on time and be able to track that through GPS to be able to see exactly where that vehicle, where that truck is, where those deliveries are, but then also being able to validate that by leveraging things like scanning the box itself to make sure that the right part got delivered, right? Even if we got it there in the hour and a half, did we get the right part and drop it off at the right shop, right? Because that burns that whole time speed doesn't matter if we did get the right part there, right? Validating that the part was delivered with proof of delivery, with collecting digital signatures. These are the type of things that can then be pulled back into that DMS, tied in there and stored with your data, and start to really understand where your processes are and how you can validate those and how you can improve them.
You're so right, Brent, with all of these pieces, and it's amazing too. And I want to come back to Tully to ask this, but as we're talking about this, there's one asset that we don't have the opportunity to recoup, and that's time. And the reality is, the time is on the clock for the customer. It's on the clock for your drivers. So I want to drill down a little bit more into optimizing the delivery operations. And so Tully, coming to you first, what does efficient logistics mean to you?
So the way we do it at the Nilo Company is that all of our parts departments have a hub. And all our drivers come to the hub, and then they have routes. And I'm telling you, it's just what Amazon does a brilliant job at. And and when it comes down to a dealer site, we can't afford to have an Amazon style company run it for us. But Ray, Reynolds and Reynolds, has done a great job helping us get that for us, because what we don't is have the ability. Because when we have all of our dealerships, and we have 10, all the parts come in, they go into the routes. And those routes then are then loaded by the driver. And then we need software to tell the driver where the parts are, make sure they have all the parts. Like Brent said, getting there on an hour and a half and you don't have the right part is a disaster, because now you've ruined the entire day. And then also now you have the ability to say, if the person calls, say, hey, I'm checking on my part, is it in delivery? And the issue is, most of the time we can say, I'll call the driver and I'll get back to you. We'll never get back to them. The issue is going to be is that we want to make it where we can look at the tablet, or we can look at the screen and say, body shop, it's about 2 stops away. I guesstimate it's probably going to be about 15, 20 minutes. Joe should be right there. And then when we get there, we're not shuffling around with paperwork. We scan it and say the car's got there, but now we get to have a digital repair orders or the digital counter tags. They sign. And then we can take back, if there's any cores back or if there's any returns back, we can track those, because what happens to cores and returns? They get lost. But we have to have a way to track all of that going through. And here's the thing. This happens every day. When you're selling hundreds of thousands of dollars in wholesale, all these leakages come out. And what happens if we get too clustery on our drive routes, then parts don't get delivered. And next thing you know, the guy comes back at 8 o'clock at night trying to make a delivery. That does not work. We want a 2 delivery system where we can do the mornings and we can do the afternoons if it's in a local market. But if we are going somewhere far away, like we go about 150 miles out, we want to make sure that poor guy drives out there, has everything he wants. And then also we need to check up on him and make sure he's doing well. So getting down to that time, like you talked about, is so crucial when it comes to wholesale delivery. It is the most important thing that we have. Ordering the part is the easy part. The DMS handles that for us. But delivering it is where the challenge are, and that's what we can get help with what Reynolds and Reynolds has.
Cliff, I'd love to hear your perspective on this as well. I mean, knowing where your assets are and streamlining this, it sounds like with what Tully is doing, I mean, this is an important component to have in your business.
100%. I think Tully hit it right on the nose. I guess I was in the corporate side of the business for 20 years before coming to the parts side. And I guess I never realized how important drivers were to what we do. And they're really the core. They're our face. We have guys here that talk to everyone on the phone all day long, but ultimately the people that they know are our drivers. And being able to give them a piece of software that is that works and can change on the fly if need be, it is invaluable.
Brent, and to come to you from the Reynolds perspective on this, you have the opportunity to work with a lot of different dealerships and a lot of different markets across the country. What are you seeing regarding logistics and how dealers are making this more efficient?
Yeah, so I really identified this as an area for opportunity. There is still so many dealers that are basically putting up paper lists of invoices on a clipboard and then handing it to the driver and saying, here's what you need to go deliver, right? Here's your stack of invoices. Over there's your pile of boxes. Go deliver them, right? And instead being able to use a piece of technology really in the driver's hand that tells them task by task exactly what they need to do, right? To be able to automatically put those deliveries in the correct order that's going to be the most efficient for them to drive, and then be able to give them navigation turn-by-turn directions that includes traffic data and road closures to make sure that they're not making a mistake, right? And that it can adjust on the fly to get them in the right place. Those are the things that we were seeing the need for as Tully put it, that Amazon type of experience of being able to move those logistics. And we don't need to frazzle our drivers. As Cliff pointed out, the drivers are the face that these customers are interacting with. So we want them to look professional. We want them to come in and look like they're using the technology and that this is cutting edge, right? And so being able to leverage those things, that's what our dealers are needing to take advantage of.
Brent, great point. And Tully and Cliff as well. The drivers are front facing. They are your dealership in the customer's eyes. And Brent, uh, escalating and upping the game is this new technology. So you told us a little bit earlier in the opening about Reynolds product, this parts flex logistics. Tell us more and some of the things that we can expect.
Yeah, so it's a web-based application that
Okay.
also includes a mobile app for the driver. So it's very adaptable. So you can run it on an iPad, a tablet, a PC, a phone, right? So the great advantage of this is we are leveraging the Reynolds technology to make this very intuitive and easy to pick up and learn as well. We want it to be something that shortens that onboarding time for when you bring a driver on so that we can be as effective as possible, as quick as possible. It's going to be able to give you that kind of bird's eye view, literally, of being able to pull a map and see where all of your trucks are at any given point in time. That's a lot of money and assets out there, not just the truck itself, but all of the material on the truck that you're delivering. And to have that visibility to know where that is, where those assets are, is very important. You know,
Tell-
go
Go
ahead. Collecting the technology by utilizing barcodes and being able to then scan and track those packages as they go through the system and be able to ensure that those parts are the correct parts that are being delivered to the correct locations, and not just the correct parts, the correct quantity of parts. So, if you have 4 of them to deliver and I take 3 off the truck, we want to be able to tell you, you didn't scan the 4th one. Don't leave yet. You still have another package that needs to be dropped off, right? So being able to take those tools that Reynolds is so good at building and developing and being able to put those in such a compact mobile application that the drivers can utilize is what's going to really drive this forward.
And Brent, this sounds incredibly robust, and this is just a game changer when it comes to all of the time pieces that you mentioned, how this is helping dealerships, plan their days more effectively and really onboard and have their drivers doing more efficient things. Is this available now, or when can we expect dealers to be able to be part of this?
Absolutely. That's a wonderful question. So we are doing some initial beta testing with dealers now, and we're going to be then doing some pilots pretty soon as we've added some more features and functionality. And we're hoping to make a big splash with this at NADA, which is just around the corner, right? We're already in November. NADA is going to be here before we know it. And we're hoping to be able to be on that floor and really show you something special with it.
Tully, this is a game changer, and it's an expected part of all business transactions today. I mean, business to consumer things we order at our homes, Amazon meals and things like that. Tully, and here we are now for parts and logistics.
I think that you look at it, and I think Sarah's question was in the beginning was, how do we make money in the parts department, in the wholesale department? Think about when we look at wholesale, it's kind of like 30 years or 40 years. It's almost like a rotary phone technology. And a lot of times now we're coming out with technology that makes us look like we know what we're talking about. And we're doing it right. We're helping our drivers. As Cliff said, our drivers are our most important asset when it comes to wholesale. It's not the person looking up the parts, because half the time they send us the part numbers, right? Body shops send you the information they want. They tell you how much they're going to pay. It's not like there's any negotiating involved. The driver is the one that goes to the store and makes people happy, takes returns. That's the bad word in the wholesale business, is returns. But the next part is, how do we get paid? And when you have a low margin in wholesale, one person can clean you out in wholesale. And that's the reason why you see a lot of stores say we're out of the wholesale business. We make low margin and half the people go bankrupt on us or just don't pay us. But the goal is going to be is that how do you get paid by big box body shops? You must give them the receipt, and there has to be a signature. No receipt, no signature, no get paid, no matter how much it is. There now, Reynolds and Reynolds is ensuring us that we get paid. For a successful body shops, right, they have to have it where they get the part. We say we delivered the part. They acknowledge they get the part. We have a scan for that part. And now we can get paid by body shops much easier and process that paperwork through the business office and make people happier. So part of wholesale is, 1, ordering the part. I feel that all the body shops got that figured out. 2, logistically getting the parts there. Reynolds and Reynolds is going to help us so much in that, dividing up routes. How do we get people emergency hot shots? They can tell us someone's close to that store. Hey, go by and pick up by George. He has something we need to match. And the last piece of the puzzle is how do we get paid? And they're going to make sure that we get processed the paperwork properly so then we can invoice it. It's so important in the wholesale business.
And Cliff, that driver, as you mentioned, is so important, such an important part, ingredient here. And the fact that now they'll have this technology that enables them to even look more professional than anything else out there.
100%. The digital proof of delivery is great. You know, the ability to optimize and plan the route. I have a reason to go to NADA now, Brent.
Fantastic. I look forward to seeing you there.
Brent, you mentioned NADA. Okay.
Yes.
What would something like this mean for operators, such as the folks who are on here? It's a game changer. First of all, will it only be for Reynolds dealers? Will there be other dealers that this will be available to? Tell us a little bit about the rollout and how that's going to work from what you see.
Sure. So we're going to start with Reynolds dealers. That's where we're going to start positioning this. And part of that is that we're able to leverage the additional data of the invoices, the DMS, to be able to pull that stuff back and really give a holistic picture, right? We talked about being able to start looking at some of that data and some of that tracking, and now we can kind of build that full life cycle of the part. We can add more data now. We can track it in the DMS today when we buy it, when we sell it. Now we can start tracking when we deliver it and kind of build that complete picture. So because of that, we want to focus on the Reynolds customers first. This is, like I said, a web-based application. This is not built into the DMS. So where it goes from there, that's yet to be seen. But at NADA, we're really hoping to show how, for the Reynolds customers, this is going to make an immediate impact. And regardless of size, right? This scales up, this scales down. Even if all you're doing is hotshot deliveries to a couple of local shops, this is fantastic because it doesn't require additional hardware other than a mobile device with an LTE connection and a web interface. So anybody can pick up a phone, log into the app, perform the tasks, and make the deliveries happen.
Sarah, the scalability is a real strong point here.
It is, Ted and Brent. This is so exciting. Reynolds and Reynolds continues to be a leader in innovation in our industry. And for those listening today, for more information about Parts Flex Logistics, keep an eye on rayray.com. And if you're interested in being a pilot, speak with your Reynolds account manager. And Brent, this is really amazing stuff.
Thank you. We are excited about it. Really bringing more of that technology to the parts space is what's going to drive our dealers forward.
Tully, it reminds me of that phrase that you frequently share: parts sells hours. How important are parts?
It's extremely important, and I'm gonna spin it the other side. We're talking about wholesale, but what's the deal when you have a job in the shop and I need a part from another store right away? I mean, the goal is going to be is that there's so many ways that we can keep our shops busy, because now when we have wholesale drivers out there, what do? I need this bolt that's like 4 cents that it's costing a job that costs 20,000. And then what we do, I don't care how much wholesale's out there, I need the bolt. Well, now we can go online and say, okay, that person's right there. Hey, swing by and get the bolt. You should be back here an hour and a half. And I can go out and tell the tech, guess what? I got the bolt. You should be here in a blank time frame. Everything is okay, versus that we're doing all these fire drills, And the last thing I also want to say, and going back to what Cliff said, drivers are so important, is tracking your drivers and giving them something to look at and say how well they're doing is really important. I think that, I'm sure they do it with UPSs and FedExes and Amazons, but how many deliveries did we do today? How many customers did we do today? How many times did we not go over the speed limit? How many times did we not crash into somebody, right? I think that when we monitor these things, we put it up on TVs, which I love to do, is show off your drivers. They want to see what they do every day. We want a little bit of competition. Let's have a contest. Let's have some fun with our wholesale drivers. Can you believe I'm saying it?
Cliff, I really like where this is going.
Absolutely. I can tell you that, the great thing about, we're a Reynolds dealer, and the great thing about that is that I know that, Reynolds continuously builds upon programs and makes them better and better, and they take feedback. I've suggested things and seen them in the very next build. So that's exciting to know that it's only going to get better from here.
And Brent, congratulations. Reynolds continues to be a great innovator and a great partner to dealers throughout the country.
Absolutely. That's our whole goal.
All right, gentlemen, thank you. Again, for our audience, if you want to learn more, visit rayray.com. Tully, Cliff, and Brent, Sarah and I want to take a moment to wish you and your families a very happy Thanksgiving at the end of next week. And thank you for all your contributions to Fixed Ops and the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Very grateful to all of you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Everybody, delivering parts efficiently and at a profit. Reynolds and Reynolds Parts Flex Logistics here with us today at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.